Welcome, everybody, to the webinar of May 7th. Today, we're going to talk about one of my favorite crops, Antirrhinum. And with us again, we have our very knowledgeable, very friendly, and very floriferous Ivan Posniakov, our technical expert for the tropical territories. Ivan, floor is yours.
Hello, Michael. Thank you, and I very happy to welcome everybody after the long gap between the last live webinar. And today, of course, we will touch also my favorite crop. Sorry for the technical issue because sometimes here is a light switching off suddenly. So anyway, today we will talk about the one of the best crop in the Syngenta assortment, and not only Syngenta and Flora Nova assortment as well. And Antirrhinum is a very interesting crop, not only because of the very attractive plants and the very funny snap shape flowers. It's also interesting because of this is very versatile and very flexible crop, and it is also has very nice fragrance. So let's start with the Antirrhinum, and I would like to make make you more familiar with our very fantastic assortment. And here you can see very big table. It's not really readable, so that's why I just mentioned here the only few items. Here you can find all entire assortment, and I split our assortment in two parts. This part is a mostly landscaping part. Here I mentioned the varieties from small to tall crops, from the compact to tall crops, and I keep it one by one, Syngenta and Flora Nova. And here you can see how many varieties, and in general, 8 series in our assortment. And the weight and height of this crop, it's really different, and it will help for landscapers to create any kind of solutions, what they can imagine in his mind. And so the height can be differ between 20 centimeters, between 15 centimeters up to close to 1 meter, up to 60 centimeters with a Madame Butterfly. And here's just only one item in this table, which also can be applied as a cut flower. And let's start with our cut flower assortment later on, but now I would like to display how the series looks like, because the table it is good, it's very informative, but it not give imagination of how the crops, how they are beautiful, how how it can be interesting. And we start with a small one, and of course, as I said formerly, we start with the Syngenta assortment, and later on we will turn to the Flora Nova assortment, and we go from the small one up to taller one. The smallest Antirrhinum is a Snaptini. Snaptini is one of the best crop for the small pots and for the patio pots. So here you can see the picture. It's really compact, really good branching, and I may to say it's not upright crop. It's in general little mountain crop, as because it has too many branches on the side. And the next one is a Snaptastic. It is already semi-tall crop, or may to say that has a place between the compact one and the tall one. And Snaptastic already upright Antirrhinum, and it has already spikes, because Snaptini has an inflorescence mostly looks like the small, how to say, the small cone shape. But Snaptastic already has a really tall, really cylindrical spikes. And of course, our best sellers is Arrow and Liberty Classic. This is the best sellers in South Asia, especially. And the Arrow is really popular in China. And it is so popular. So in hugest landscape, you can see in China only Arrow. That Liberty Classic is most popular for the hotter condition. And of course, it has a really classical spikes, really classical cylindrical or candle-shaped spikes, very attractive. And both of them really branching. And the application in general for that series is a landscaping. Madame Butterfly has also very attractive spikes, but This is a unique crop. It has a double flower, really double flowers, double petals flowers. And this crop is the tallest one in this range, and it is possible to use that as a landscaping crop and cut flower as well. And let's turn to the Flora Nova assortment. Flora Nova assortment has three varieties. One of the smallest one is Crackle Pop, but we will start with Antiquity, because Antiquity it is also unique variety. It is exceptional variety among the how to say the assortment of Antirrhinum, I mean the worldwide assortment of Antirrhinum, because it has open flowers. And here you can see in the picture the really unusual shape of the flowers. It looks like little trumpets. And let's start with another small crop from Flora Nova assortment, another compact one. This is a Crackle Pop. Crackle Pop has the similar and very close shape and very close size to the Snaptini, but it has a widest color range in the assortment, in the this series assortment. There you can find the different colors from the lime yellow up to the dark purple, and even bicolor flowers. And last but not least is a Sweet Duet. A Sweet Duet is a really exceptional crop because of the two properties. One of them is a double flower. It's also double flower like a Madam Butterfly, but it also has a really strong and really nice fragrance. So this crop is quite branching. The size of these plants of this series is average, is like 40 centimeters, but it has a really nice branching, and it also has a very attractive really double flower. And I would like to say that I would like to mention one property of this crop. It's one of the earliest in the double flower among the double flower Antirrhinums. And let's start to figure out. I would like to start with to figure out with our cut flower assortment. Here I put the three varieties which created specifically as a cut flower, which bred as specifically as a cut flower. One of them is Madam Butterfly. The second one is Opus. Here I also mentioned Madam Butterfly again because Madam Butterfly is quite flexible crop. It also possible. Don't forget, it also possible to use that in the landscaping. And Overture. What's the difference between of them? Because Madam Butterfly, as I said, is a double flower variety. And here in the poster on the right side of the slides, you can see the this is really graceful beauty. You can see the very nice, very tender pink flowers, double flowers, which is collected as a bouquet, and you can imagine how what's the impression you will bring if you will present this kind of flowers. And what's the difference between Opus and Overture? This very close to each other in a weight, in the height, and also in the plant shape, but Overture is a day natural variety, so it's really suitable to produce in the short day condition, in a winter condition. It's because in the South Asia, in the Southeast Asia, we have too high temperature in the summer condition, so most suitable time to produce a cut flower Antirrhinum, it is a winter time. But in winter time we have rather short days, especially in the northern region, like in the northern part of India, in Korea, in the northern part of China. And this crop is really suitable because it's able to come to full blooming earlier than other Antirrhinums because of their neutrality. And another difference is the diameter of the stems. Opus, this is a bit stronger variety, and it has a more strong and more little bit taller stems, and more bigger in stems and bigger in diameter. So Overture is made to say the little bit smaller, but early, and the stem diameter a little bit smaller than Opus has. And if you want to get more information about our assortment, about really wide and really fantastic Antirrhinum assortment, you can explore our Syngenta catalog. And on the page 11, you can find the description of the Antirrhinum assortment. And you can also find the additional information in the Floranova catalog about the varieties from the Floranova breeding. And let's start with the technical things. Of course, I would like, before I would like to very quickly go through the cut flower pictures. This you're already familiar with the Madame Butterfly. Overture and Opus looks a bit similar, but as I said formerly, the stem's diameter a bit bigger in the Opus variety. And of course, you can explore as well our catalog for cut flowers. We created this year a special catalog where we collect very suitable for the local market varieties of our plants, which is useful for which can be used as a cut flower or which specifically bred for the cut flower. There you can find also our fantastic Antirrhinum assortment. And let's start with the technical things. How to create, how to grow these nice plants and how to be successful. I will tell you the answer and I will tell you the few secrets of Antirrhinum, of course. And let's start before I would like to I would like to raise your interest to this crop and would like to display this nice picture from this picture taken from China. And here you can see really attractive field of the Antirrhinum. And here you can imagine how it quite easily to create a very huge landscaping with this crop. And let's start with technical things. Here I collect five critical items which will help you to understand the crop and which will help you to make a skeleton of your knowledge about this crop. First one is don't underwater Antirrhinum seedlings and Antirrhinum ready plants. Antirrhinum mostly this crop originally from the Mediterranean region, and honestly I can tell the one secret of Antirrhinum is a perennial crop. But we producing it like annuals, and as because it came from same Mediterranean area, that's there is quite arid climate, so that's why Antirrhinum may to say genetically not likes to keep too much water in the root system, near of the root system. And of course, Antirrhinum is pH sensitive crop. It mostly grown in the rocks, but in the rocks which like of calcium. So that's why Antirrhinum don't like too high pH. Keep it cold. And Antirrhinum is cold, may to say the cold resistant crop, but this is not telling about its resistance against the hot temperature. Antirrhinum also able to, it is possible to produce Antirrhinum in a hot temperature as well. And don't keep too deep. Antirrhinum roots and Antirrhinum stem quite sensitive to stem and root diseases. So that's why, and I will tell you what kind of approach you have to avoid to keep your plants in a healthy condition. And the pythium, of course, the pythium is a big problem, not only for the Antirrhinum, but for Antirrhinum is quite a critical disease. And let's start one by one. And let's talk about crop scheduling and the production secrets one by one. And of course, we start with the sowing condition. What to do and how to sow, I will tell in the next slide. And of course, here by this link, you can find more information about other webinars where you can see, where you can discover another secrets from other crops. And let's start with the sowing process. Sowing process starting with, of course, with a substrate and with a sowing condition. Antirrhinum is not an exceptional crop. It is possible to use 299 cells trays, and it is necessary to apply just only one seeds. Despite of Antirrhinum is quite has a quite small, rather small seedlings, it not requires to use a double or triple, sorry, sowing in the one cells. So one seeds per cell, it is enough for Antirrhinum. Is it necessary to cover? As because you already see the covered with the vermiculite trays. Yes, of course, it requires to the seeds of Antirrhinum requires to be covered, and coverage should be rather thick because Antirrhinum don't need to get a light for the germination. Light is not necessary for that. Of course, germination chamber will help and will enhance germination process. Germination process by itself takes about 5 days. Sometime Antirrhinum can come maybe bit shorter in 3 days, but in general 5 days is a normal timing for germination process. And the chamber or soil temperature should be rather warm if we're talking about Antirrhinum, because Antirrhinum, as I said, it's quite cold resistant crop. But the germination stage on the germination stage, the seedlings and the seeds requires quite hot temperature, and it should be in a range between 22 and 24 degrees. And another is, and sorry, the most critical thing, please don't overwater Antirrhinum even on the seedling stage. There is another exceptional crop. There are another exceptional crops in our assortment. One of them is verbena, which requires us even level 3, and another crop is also well known for the growers is a celosia, which also requires level the level 4. As Antirrhinum as a celosia also don't like to be overwatered. As I explained, this is biological. Specific of this crop because it came from Mediterranean climate, which is quite arid. So that's why Antirrhinum not like to be overwatered even in the sowing stage. And substrate and water pH should be between 5.5 up to 5.9. And later on, I will touch more in details about the pH level because Antirrhinum is a pH sensitive crop as well. And let's go to the germination process, how to organize and how to create good seedlings. Initially, we start with the substrate, and now I would like to talk a little bit more about substrate. And here you can see what kind of substrate suitable for Antirrhinum. Antirrhinum is a rather sensitive crop. I mean, it may to say the root of Antirrhinum is rather sensitive to root rots and root diseases. So that's why pay attention, and this also telling us something about the substrate application. And anyway, substrate must be drained because Antirrhinum root sensitive to the overwatering. So water must be drained quite fast from the root area. And what kind of a type, what kind of material substrate should be made. Peat is okay. Coco peat is okay as well. Wood fiber substrate, okay, but the rice husk, please don't apply natural substrate on the seedling stage or substrate derived from the plant residuals. Of course, peat and the coco peat and the wood fiber, it's also substrate derived from the plant residuals, but that type of substrate prepared with a specific treatment. Peat moss created through the many decades and many hundred of years, but I mean in the nature, and coco peat specifically treated before you purchase it from the vendors. And of course, wood fiber, it's a substrate treated with a special steam decaying application. And so that kind of substrate, like a peat moss, coco peat, and wood fiber based substrate, is rather it's rather clean. But a substrate like a rice husk or substrate based on the natural plant residuals or any kind of composts is not appropriate for the Antirrhinum, because roots again of the Antirrhinum are sensitive to the uh, fungal diseases. And of course, to avoid any kind of mistakes with the pH, any kind of mistakes with the salinity, I advise to use the mixes like 50% of peat and 50% of coco peat, or 50-50 coco peat together with the wood fiber substrate. And of course, don't forget to keep the any kind of agent which help to make substrate more which give the more porousness in the substrate, like a perlite, sand, vermiculite, or zeolite. And here I put the range of the different limiting agent from the best one is a perlite to the worst one, vermiculite. Try to avoid to use vermiculite because vermiculite is quite alkaline, so that's why it not really suitable for the Antirrhinum. But if you haven't add any other agents to make substrate more porousness, please you can use a little bit of vermiculite on that stage. And let's start with another items. As I mentioned formerly, Antirrhinum has a quite vulnerable or quite sensitive root. So I advise to protect plant before you start to sowing. And how to do that? There are few approaches. In general, the main three approaches is chemical application. The second one is a biological protection, and third one is a physical protection. And the third one is interesting approach. I will tell something a bit more about that. And of course, you can use that by substrate treatment with chemicals like propamacarb is a chemical protection, or you can use chemicals on the base of the biological agents like Bacillus subtilis, Bacillus amyloliquefaciens, or Trichoderma or Streptomyces lidicus specific strains. And another approach is application of the hot water. This kind of old school approach, but it's possible to use in a small farms if the grower hasn't a big volume to be sown. So you can apply the steam or hot water to treat the substrate. How to do that? You can take the trays with substrate. You can prepare the hot water with the temperature above the 19 degrees. Water saturate substrate with this water, let the water drain, and keep substrate for 1 day under the plastic. It need to be covered by the plastic or by the glass, and wait for 1 day. After that treatment, most of the infections will be killed by the hot temperature. So you will receive the quite clean substrate, but please keep in mind this kind of approach mostly applicable for the small volume of substrate, not for the big one. And of course, if you have a good set to prepare to create a steam in a quite big volume, you also can apply the steam to treat the substrate, but keep the substrate for 1 day or for 1 night to cool it down and to let the substrate be prepared let the substrate to come to the proper wet condition, because if you will apply that kind of substrate which treated by steam or treated by hot water immediately after the cooling and not keep that for the 1 day, the substrate will be overwatered, and so that will be not really suitable for germination process. And the substrate, I mean the product of decaying, also can inhibit the germination process. So that's why after call hot water application, please keep the substrate for the night or for the day to let it be prepared for the sowing. And let's start with a general condition. So one of the main rule how to create a nice shaped seedlings, healthy seedlings, and keep it cooler. What's the day temperature? Day temperature and night temperature mostly the same, 19-20 degrees on the seedling stage. If you have a problem with the over lightning or too strong sun condition, please provide shading and the normal light intensity for the seedlings, not too high. It's 20-30 kilolux. So that's why it is possible to use the shading to cool down the volume of the air in the greenhouse, and it will help to decrease the temperature. And of course, you're able to apply any different type of the cooling down the air in the greenhouse. So in this condition, you not need to apply any kind of PGRs. You not need to apply a different approach how to create more compact seedlings, because compact seedlings is a good start for the nice ready plant production. And another items what to do, how to handle the seedlings during the growing stage after germination. Here you can see already germinated seedlings, but it quite unusual. It has three cotyledons, and I like this picture because it's looks not not usual, and it looks more vigorous, more healthy. So, but here you can see the plant little bit overwatered, and the algae is a main things, and the how to say, there's a nice things how to indicate the plants being overwatered. So try to avoid over application of the water during this young plant production. And so water level or moisture level of a substrate should be alternate between the level 4 and level 2, and let the substrate become to dry stage, to normal dry stage on the level 2 between the two irrigation. Not need to apply the next watering if the substrate not come to the condition which can be recognized as a level 2. So it should be not dark colored. It should be light dark colored or slightly gray colored in the surface. Only after this stage it is possible to apply the next watering. In this case, you will be confident that plant will not be overwatered. And how to provide overwatering and which kind of approach can help to avoid overwatering. Of course, it provides good porosity. I would like to recall the information about living agents like a perlite and the sand, and use the inert components like a perlite, of course, and a good porosity of the substrate also can be reached by the normal size of the substrate particles. Don't use too thin substrate, too small particle substrate with the too small particles. And of course, create rather low humidity, I mean the moderate humidity, and provide a good ventilation. It will help plants to absorb the water and evaporate it quite fast. And let's start with fertigation. The main and the the most critical items I would like to explain here. It is pH, and of course, the seedlings of Antirrhinum has another secret. It don't like as a telosia. It don't like to eat too much. It is for us, it is very convenient crop because we can save the expense for the fertilizer. And but don't forget to apply fertilizer with every water. It not means, please keep in mind, it not means that if I talking about apply less fertilizer, it not means you have to apply the clean water. Please never apply clean water. Since the plant received the one normal leaves, here on the right picture, you can see the stage when the first leaves already appeared on the top. I mean the first normal leaves, not cotyledons. Cotyledons is the leaves which derived from the seeds, from the embryo stage. The real leaves, it's the things when you have to start apply fertilizer. But Antirrhinum don't like to be overfeeded, so provide just only 50 or 75 ppm of nitrogen. It's quite low concentration. You can imagine that some crop requires, like already on this stage, like a tinea, for instance, likes 125 ppm of nitrogen, and you can provide this kind of nitrogen concentration with a full or complex fertilizer with NPK. Like 75-17 with a weight 0.3 till 0.5 gram per liter. In this concentration, you will reach up the proper EC level, and EC level should be quite low, like 1.3 or 1.5, and the optimal EC in the substrates also should be low. So please don't forget to measure you see, not only in the water that you would like to apply to the seedlings, and also please check, you see, after the watering in the substrate. And substrate you see also quite low. It's 0.5, 0.75 millisiemens per centimeter. So not many crops like this the same low level of the salts in the substrate. The similar crop is of course impatiens. Impatiens also don't like to receive too much fertilizer, and to avoid any kind of problem with the over salinity, use the water with rinsing. What it means? It means if you apply the water, you can stop. You must stop when the water start to dripping from the bottom of the trays. This is the things when you have to stop. Before, keep continuously watering the plant, because the rinsing will help to avoid over salinity by the leakage of the salts with the water from the bottom of trays. And of course, let's keep your attention, and let's keep focus on the pH, because the pH is quite critical condition. And because as I said formerly, Antirrhinum has two sensitive roots. You can see in the picture even well developed seedlings with the first real leaves, with the first normal leaves, has very few roots and very thin roots. So that's why please pay attention to the root condition. Don't forget to check the root condition during the production time. Production time takes a few weeks, and of course, substrate should be well drained. And what kind of substrate you have to apply after the plants get ready? Of course, here I would like to explain one interesting thing. On the ready stage, Antirrhinum less sensitive. I mean, Antirrhinum roots less sensitive to the any kind of diseases. So that's why this kind of substrate like rice husk is applicable for the ready plants. And cocopeat is of course applicable as well, and wood fiber, and even soil-based substrate. So please don't forget to apply the biological protection like trichoderma. This is very nice tool. I very like the biological based chemicals on the plants, and many growers now also can find any kind of very big benefit from the biological protection. So if you would like to use plant-based or compost, plant-based substrate or compost or natural soils, don't forget to apply the biological protection. And of course, a substrate particle should be already a bit bigger because root of the ready plants is more stronger. And any kind of mixes also welcome by the Antirrhinum. Mixes of the substrate, mixes of the substrate base will help to avoid any kind of deficiency or any kind of the excess, like too high pH or excess of any kind of elements in the substrate. And of course, don't forget to use the agents, I mean the inert agents, to create a bigger higher porosity of the substrate to provide a nice oxygen condition for the roots. And here I would like to keep attention on the cocoa chips, because cocoa chips is quite cheap substitution for the this kind of inert agents like a perlite. For Antirrhinum and for ready plants, it also can be applicable like a lignin agent. It provides good porosity and provide good space between the particles in the substrate volume. So you can use this advice to make your production more efficient. And let's start to talk about the transplanted time. When you have to transplant the Antirrhinum, what's the stage? The best stage is a 3 or 4 pairs of leaf. Here you can see the seedlings on the 3 pairs of leaf stage, and the 4 already appears on the top. And this is one of the best time to transplant the seedlings from the trays or from the sowing beds into the big pot. And you can find the really logical question: what kind of pots or what kind of pot size you need to use for separate series, for the specific series. And here you can see I just keep the as an example this nice picture with 7 plants in the big pot. This is a small variety, it's quite dwarf variety. This is a Snaptini transplanted into the bigger pot. So even for the small plants, you're able to apply nice and able to create nice large pot, but you must keep there a bit more plants than in a smaller pot. And next table will display which kind of pots suitable for different series. I wouldn't stay and I wouldn't keep too much attention to the table. I just keep it show here, and you can use this table like a reference table to understand how many plants you must to keep and which kind of containers suitable for the certain for the specific series. And I will not keep too much time for this table. And of course, the in landscape applicable, it's very applicable to use a distance between the plants 20 or 25 by 25 centimeters. And another critical things, another secret of Antirrhinum, which this secret will help you to avoid many kind of problem with Antirrhinum. And the secret is quite simple: not keep it deeper. Don't keep the seedlings in the substrate too deep. Here I displayed on the right side the seedlings. It little bit stretched, but it is here I can display very easily what means don't bury the stems of the Antirrhinum. And here you see here you can see the stem below the cotyledons. And normally for many crops, I really advise to keep this part of the stem below the substrate level, and made to say the bury the stems below the substrate level. For instance, for such crop like Kufea, it's really applicable because it has a really long really long stem below the cotyledons. It's called hypocotyl, and this part of the stems normally with the many plants in many cases it's able to produce additional root, and it is really beneficial to keep with the many crops to keep that kind of stem, that kind of part of stems, I mean the um, um, hypocotyl below the substrate level, substrate surface. But Antirrhinum is a sensitive crop to the to stem rots and to stem fungal diseases. So that's why please don't keep that this part of stem below the substrate level. And this is not okay. If you keep that part below the red line is not okay, but the green line is okay. And here you can see what will happen if you keep the plants too deep. You can see on this picture plants already a little bit wilted. So the it's not in the turgor only because it start to attacks by the fungal by the spores and the sprouting spores of the fungal diseases on the hypocotyl. And so these plants should be or retransplanted, or it will be able to be eliminated later on. So it can be damaged up to death. This is one of the biggest secret of Antirrhinum, I may to say. And let's start to another secrets. And what's the general condition after transplanting? Of course, as I formerly tell, Antirrhinum is, as I formerly told, Antirrhinum is a cold-resistant crop. So that's why the optimal range is 19-20 degrees in the daytime. But later on, I will back to the day temperature, and the night temperature should be quite low, 13-15 degrees. So that's why Antirrhinum is a perfect crop for northern condition, like Uttarakhand in India, like South Korean part, like a northern part of the in China. And what's about the light condition? Light condition should be already I mean, on the ready stage, on the ready plant stage after transplant, it should be rather high, 60-40 kilolux. It's really a really high intensity of the light. So that's why I advise to keep the ready plants already outside of greenhouse, because outside of greenhouse, you're able to provide, especially with the shading. And of course, I could advise to apply the shading. In outside condition, it's very easy to keep temperature lower than in greenhouse, and of course keep the space, expand space in the greenhouse, and put the plant in outside condition. And so of course, in this stage, try to continuously keep substrate moisture level between 2 and 4. Sorry, I keep the one typo here. I keep the 3 and 4, but honestly, it should be between 2 and 4. And let's back to the day temperature. Here I displayed what's the range in which kind of temperature Antirrhinum able to very easily survive. This is this temperature range based on our experience in the South Asia and Southeast Asian countries. So this temperature range is also okay for Antirrhinum. So that's why it is possible to produce ready plants with a higher temperature, like 22, 24, and even 25 degrees. It's also not problem, 27 sometimes. Yeah, of course, in outside condition without shading, flowers can be a little bit damaged, especially old flowers can be a little bit burned out by the sun. But if you provide a shading net, it is you will not face any problem with a too strong sun there. And but how to keep the plant with a hot condition? Because as you can understand, and you can await that in a hotter condition plant will be stretched. Yes, of course, plant will be stretched. But what to do in a hot condition? In a hot condition, day temperature can be quite high, and the one of the best approach to avoid the stretching of the plants with a hot condition is to apply PGR. And we are happy because Antirrhinum sensitive to many type of PGR. It's really welcome different type like a benign, bonsai, also magic as well, and this kind of stage, I mean the four leaves, sorry, four or three pairs of leaves, it's really suitable to apply PGR. But please wait 1 week after transplanting. You transplant the seedlings, wait 1 week, and after that, if you have a or if you wait quite hot condition, or you already know it will be hot condition, it will be placed in hot condition, apply the PGRs. 2 times absolutely enough. After the duration between, I mean the time between the two applications should be 1 week. So apply 2 times and keep the time between application 1 week. And what's about fertigation tips for the ready plants? Ready plants already requires a bit higher concentration of the fertilizer. It requires already 125 up to 175 ppm of nitrogen. You can provide this nitrogen concentration by dissolving 1 or 1.7 gram per liter of this type of NPK range, like 15,530, 10,325. And here we can note, you can already see that difference. Here I keep the difference between the nitrogen and potassium. Since the plants been transplanted to the ready containers, to the ready pots, start to apply NPK, I mean the fertilizer, with a higher concentration of potassium, because potassium already required to form the flower buds, to form the flowers, and the time when you have to change fertilizer with a equal balance between the nitrogen and potassium and the and the fertilizer with a higher concentration, it's about 3-5 weeks after transplanting. And optimal you see in the substrate, of course, saturated media extract is 0.9 up to 1.3. It's already higher than we must to keep on the seedling stage. And don't over apply fertilizer. Of course, it is possible already use a high concentration like 1.7, but try to avoid excess the concentration above the 1.7 gram per liter, and avoid the concentration in the water like 1.7 or 2 millisiemens per centimeter. And of course, don't forget the best approach how to avoid over salinity or over application of a fertilizer is water with rinsing. So let the water dry from the drainage holes in the bottom, which is on the bottom of the pots or the containers. And don't forget to keep pH in range between 5.5 till 5.8. And after that, if you keep Antirrhinum in the proper condition, you will receive plant already must be to be sold. Here you can see the example how plant looks like when it is ready to be sold. And here I keep, just for reference, to keep your life more easily, the crop timing. You can use this table to make your own scheduling. You can calculate how many weeks after transplanting for each series you have to apply in your practice. And of course, please keep in mind, in more hotter condition, the crop timing will be shorter. In more cold condition and in a shady condition like or cloudy condition, the crop time can be extend 1 or 2 weeks more. And of course, I would like to pay a few minutes for the diseases, for Antirrhinum disease. Of course, how we can live without diseases, because it's surrounding us everywhere. It's in the dust, in the air. The spores also can be kept in the substrate in the bottom of greenhouse. So of course, don't forget to apply the the hygienic good hygienic practice in your greenhouses. But if you already face the problem with any kind of fungal diseases like a Pythium or Alternaria on ready stage, please you can use this table to find proper chemicals. Here I keep the active ingredient name, not chemical name. Just only because some kind of the product, I mean the commercial product, not available in a particular regions. So that's why I keep here the few active ingredients for each disease. So for Pythium, you can, for instance, can use the very traditional Propamocarp, which can be used also as a therapy, as a chemical before you transplant the plants. So in the substrate before transplanting or before sowing, or azoxystrobin, like a chemical, if you've already faced the symptoms of the Pythium, and the same rate, even more for other diseases like Rhizoctonia, Alternaria, which also can be found in the Antirrhinum greenhouses. So here I would like to finalize my presentation. Thank you very much for attention, and please don't forget to ask more if you have a question your local key account manager, Amjad Iqbal for Southeast Asia and Pakistan countries, Gautam for Southeast Asia countries, or me if you have a technical issue or have a technical questions. Please don't forget to reach out our team, our fantastic team in this region. And of course, don't forget to use our website, www.syngentaflowers.com. Thank you very much. Michael, please, can you tell, was everything fine? Was everything fine? And do we have any kind of questions in the
Well,
chat?
thanks, Ivan. Again, I learned a lot about growing our snapdragons. Currently, we don't see any questions in the chat, so I think everything was very self-explanatory. So great job. Thanks again for watching, and feel free to reach out to Ivan or your key account manager in case you have any questions. Have a very nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.